Hey, it's Chris, and a new article on BGR, Boy Genius Report, caught my eye this morning. It was called Apple's Unreleased iOS 13 Software Was Just Spotted for the First Time, and We Can't Wait. And I just wanted to give you my reaction, my take to this very exciting news. iOS 12, which is the current version of iOS, just for reference, it was all about maintenance. It was just about bug fixes and stability, making things work better. So what it lacked was really some groundbreaking new feature or features. And that was good. I mean, stability, making sure things work right, it's all very important. But iOS 13 is all about Apple trying to wow people again, trying to give them some new features to get really excited about. Here's the first blurb from the article. According to reports from independent sources, Apple delayed a number of exciting new features and pushed them back to 2019 in order to focus on optimizing iOS 12. It's not just BGR reporting this. There's a community consensus that says that there's a backlog of already existing ideas that Apple's had on the table that they had to put aside for iOS 12. So because of iOS 12, there's this backlog, and you might add to that backlog some new ideas that have been accumulating as well. So basically, there's a bunch of great iOS 13 ideas and features that are going to be coming soon. And actually, at the end of the video, why don't we talk about some of those rumors? And I'll tell you what I'm personally already really excited about. So you might be wondering, when are we gonna see what Apple's been up to with iOS 13? Well, that's gonna happen at WWDC, which is the Worldwide Developers Conference. It happens every year, and it's gonna happen in June. Quick side note, last year was the first WWDC that I've ever been to. I got invited by Apple, and I paid for myself to go out there and whatever, but at least I was invited. And it was the first time that I got to meet people like MKBHD, Jonathan Morrison, iJustine and her sister, Your Average Consumer, Sarah Dietschy. It was also the first time I've ever been recognized in public, so that was kind of cool for me too. Somebody actually sent me a picture of me sitting where I was sitting with all the other YouTubers, and it was like, whoa. But it was like a million people coming up to MKBHD and Jonathan, whatever, being like, whoa, and nobody recognized me. Then like 2 or 3 people came up and said, hey, so that was cool. Thanks for coming up and saying hey. All right, so getting back into it, here's what's really exciting from this article. MacRumors noted in a blog post that the site has begun to see visits from iPhones running iOS 13. I don't know if you guys know this actually, but Daily Tech, the brand, started as a blog back in 2012. And as a blogger, I remember like you could easily see what devices, what browsers, and what operating systems people were hitting the site on. So yeah, it's really easy to get that info. BGR can confirm that devices running iOS 13 have been visiting our site as well. In fact, we began to see iPhone and iPad models running iOS 13 all the way back in August. So basically, Apple employees have been testing iOS 13 out in the wild for almost half a year already, which is pretty crazy. And part of me has to wonder, are they doing that on purpose, hitting MacRumors and BGR and these news outlets just to give them something to write about? I don't know. The reason why this is exciting as an Apple fan or Apple user, iOS 13 being tested out in the wild, in the real world, is because the leaks are not gonna be far behind. I'm actually of the opinion when it comes to leaks that in a perfect world, I really wish that they didn't happen because I would rather be surprised. I don't know about you, but this is the world we live in. The leaks are gonna happen. They will definitely happen for iOS 13. And when that news comes out, I mean, I'm gonna be just as excited as you. And I just wanna point out something that's really cool about Apple and iPhones and iOS in general and iOS 13 specifically, because that's what's coming out. It's great that you don't have to have the latest, greatest iPhone to take advantage of the latest and best operating system with Apple. Like iOS 12, for instance, that was available on 9 different iPhone models, including the iPhone 5S. That's nuts. And that's honestly something that Android people kind of miss out on, just reliable access across the board for the newest devices to the latest OS. So iOS 13 is out in the wild. Let's talk about some of the very, very, very early rumors that maybe you can put no stock in, but you can kind of dream a little bit and think about what might be coming, starting with the fact that the Files app might be getting an update, which is something that iPad Pro people have been clamoring about, making a lot of noise about, and it sounds like maybe, possibly, they might have been heard. Another rumor says that iOS apps might be getting tabs, which I think would be brilliant, actually. I really love how Finder on the Mac got tabs. I mean, I use that all the time, so I think this would be great. Another rumor that's kind of related, and it's been circulating for a while now, is that other iOS apps besides Safari might get side-by-side multi-window support, which you guys know I'm really excited about that. I've been talking about it forever, especially in recent videos, because I really want side-by-side Apple Notes on my iPad Pro, please. One change, which could be the biggest change that I've heard about, would be a redesigned or maybe just a refreshed home screen. And that would be a very big change. Grandpas and grandmas all over the world would just not know how to use their phone anymore. And one thing you can definitely count on is some Siri updates. I mean, Siri is kind of perceived as being behind other assistants, and Apple knows they need to work on this. They are working on it. They hired hundreds of people, some high-profile people, to make Siri better. So this is something you can expect for iOS 13 and just like indefinitely. One of the more interesting rumors comes from an Apple patent which gives users dynamic keyboard positioning. So if you're on an iPad, you wouldn't be stuck with a keyboard that's just flush with the edges of the screen. It could rotate depending on where you are in relation to the iPad, and that could be kind of interesting, typing at a different angle. So those are some of the more interesting iOS 13 rumors that I've seen floating around, and the point is, Apple's out there testing it right now. They've been working on it for a long time. It's going to start leaking soon, which you may or may not find cool. If you don't want to be surprised, then you'll probably like that. But I'm so excited. And if you watch this channel, then you probably are too. What you should do is let me know down in the comments what you are most hoping for or most excited about for iOS 13. And of course, don't forget, you can follow me. You should know by now if you're a subscriber, I'm at Daily Tech, spelled daily, T-E-K-K, on Instagram and Twitter. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.